Alright, so here's page 2 of the review. Number 6 says which method, and then list them here, can be used to show the triangles are congruent. Alright, so I see this and I'm going to mark the shared side here. And we have in this left triangle, we have a right angle and one side and then the hypotenuse. Doing the same thing in the right triangle up here. There's a right angle, this leg's congruent to that leg, and this hypotenuse is shared. So this one is going to be RHL or just HL. Now this one we have these angles congruent marked. These are vertical angles, so even if they weren't marked, we would go ahead and mark them. And then this side and that side are congruent. So this side is not in between our two angles, so this is going to be angle, angle, side. And then for letter C, we have a shared side here. So that is going to give us side, angle, side. This angle is in between the two congruent sides. And the same thing in the right triangle. This angle is in between the two congruent sides. So this one is side, angle, side. All right. Number 7, decide whether the triangles can be proved congruent by the given information. So the triangle, LMN, and CBA by RHL. So these angles look like they're right angles here. And you may think, okay, they're right angles, and then yes, we have RHL. But there is nothing in here to let us know that. They don't say anything about perpendicular lines. There's no boxes to tell us that those are right angles. So this is no, not enough information. No. Now this one is saying these two triangles by side, side, side. You may be sitting there saying, well, yeah, these two are congruent because we have angle, side, angle. And yes, I agree with you, but the question is saying by side, side, side. So there is no, not enough information. All right, number 8, match the theorem with the correct pair of congruent triangles. Angle, side, angle needs to have two congruent angles and the side in between them. That's statement number 4 down here. So this one and this one. So this one is A. So then side angle side is going to have two congruent sides and the angle in between. Well, that is going to be number 2. Letter B. Then RHL. So when I see RHL, I'm looking for a right angle and the hypotenuse is being congruent, and we have that down here in number 5. Side, side, side is all about the sides, no angles, and that looks like number 1. And then finally, I haven't used that color, angle, angle, side is the only one that's left, so that one was E. So that's kind of an idea of what all the congruence theorems look like. All right, number 9, in the diagram the triangles are congruent, find X and find Y. So you may be sitting there, well, how do I know which parts are congruent to which parts? 58 degrees, 58 degrees, 47 degrees, 47 degrees. So that means, that means this angle up here is 5x. All right. So all 3 of these need to add up to 180. So we're going to say, I'll do this over here, I guess, 58 plus 47 plus 5x equals 180. All right, 47 plus 58 47 plus 58 is 105. Right, minus 105 from both sides, we're going to get 5x equals 75. and then divide both sides by 5. X is going to equal 75 divided by 5 is 15. So X is 15. Now to find Y, we gotta say we can do it one of two ways. Alright, we can either use this side or that side, but we gotta make sure we match up with this triangle and that triangle correctly. So D and U go together, and E and V go together, and F and W go together. So we could say that FD, I have a green and black marking there, FD and WU go together. You could do that. Or you could say the green and brown side right here, DE, goes with UV. We're going to get the same answer for Y regardless. So I'm going to do 8 is equal to Y plus 5. So 8 equal to Y plus 5. So 3 is equal to Y. And then the congruence statement, the reason why I did all this with colors and stuff is because now I can easily see what's going on. So my congruence statement is going to be triangle, DEF is congruent to triangle, and I started at green and I went to brown. So I could go UVW. So that is my congruent statement. Let's look at the next page. State if the given pair are corresponding sides, corresponding angles, or neither. Okay, so before I start looking at the answers, I'm going to finish marking up this from here. Since angle A and angle D are congruent, and angle C and angle F are congruent, angle B and angle E are congruent. And then side AC, right here, we go from one marking to 2 on the angles, must be congruent to DF, and that means these two sides are congruent. So now angle E and angle F. Well, angle E and F are in the same triangle, so this is neither. Angle E and angle B. Angle E and B both have 3 markings, so they are corresponding angles. Side AC and ED. Okay, so AC has 2 markings, 2 tick marks on the side, and ED only has 1, so this is neither. Angle D and angle C. Angle C has 2 angle markings, angle D only has 1, so that's neither. Side DE and side AB. AB has 3 markings, and so does DE. So these are corresponding sides. And side EF and BC. Okay, BC has 1 marking. EF also has 1 marking. So these are also corresponding sides. Now on to our proofs. So given angle K is congruent to angle N, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Angle KML is congruent to congruent to angle NML. Alright, so these 2 angles are congruent. And then I'm going to mark a shared side. So right now, I can see that this is going to be angle, angle, side. So then we just have to write out. So the given, and then angle K. That's given. Then we have LM is congruent to LM. That's a reflexive property of congruence. So then that means that the triangle KML is congruent to triangle NML by angle, angle, side. Like I said before, it's always easier if you kind of mark up the picture so you know what you're doing and where you have to go, and then you can write it out. Alright, so this one. We have HI is congruent to JK. Right, okay, that's marked for us. And so is this part, IJ and KH. And we also have a shared side. So these triangles are congruent by side, 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 but they're asking us to prove that angle K is congruent to angle I. So we're going to have to go a step further than saying that the triangles are congruent by side, side, side. So I start with the given. HI is congruent to JK, and IJ is congruent to KH is given. Then JH is going to be congruent to HJ. And the reason they're switched is because in the triangle over here on the left, the angle J is formed by the side with 2 and 3 tick marks on the sides. And in the left triangle, the angle that is formed with the sides of 2 marks and 3 marks is H. So that is why they're switched. And that is going to be the reflexive POC. So that means that triangle IJH is congruent to triangle KHJ. By side, side, side. And now if the two triangles are congruent, that means their corresponding parts are congruent, which allows us to say angle I and angle K are congruent. So angle I is congruent to angle K, and that is that CP-CTC stuff, but I always like to say if triangles are congruent, then corresponding parts are congruent. Alright, so that was the second and third page of this review. I'm going to stop the video here and then do the next part and another one. So try everything and then watch the videos when you need help.